You guys may have seen this coming after yesterday's video where we did the tier list for 2019. We haven't done an actual full tier list in forever. If you missed out on that, be sure to go check it out. I'll have a link in the description to that video for you guys there. It is a pretty long video, but a lot of people really liked it, and that's because it's jam-packed full of information. But today, guys, we're going to be going over the newest TMRs, the top 10 new TMRs of 2019 thus far, right after anniversary. It is September. We're kind of wrapping anniversary stuff up that happened late June, July-ish, and we've kind of gotten the different collaborations and stuff like that, guys. So that's what this video is going to be about. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you guys think is going to be on the list? But before we get into that list, this video is once again sponsored by Amazon and the Amazon App Store and Amazon Coins. You guys know how I feel about it, and for a little bit more information, guys, if you want to purchase Lapis and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, then you need to check out the Amazon Coins on the Amazon App Store for Android. Amazon Coins can save you a lot of money on in-app purchases such as Lapis bundles and other deals. Right now, new and returning customers can save up to 20% on Amazon Coins and get a lot more of these packs for your money. To get access to the Amazon App Store and take advantage of all of the savings from Amazon Coins, go ahead and click on the link in the description of this video below. There's a lot of exciting content coming out this week in FFBE, so go ahead, check out the Amazon App Store, get FFBE for the Amazon App Store, and get cracking with those Amazon coin deals. Thank you once again for Amazon sponsoring this video. Have fun out there, guys, and let's get into it. So the first one, guys, is going to actually be dual form. We'll talk about dual form really quick. Dual form made the list. It is new, and true dual wield is a thing. It's on the list because it's your one-stop shop for a lot of dual wield characters. If you're just starting out and you want to hit that 200% true dual wield cap, a lot of characters have 100% innately. You just throw this in your materia slot and you're good to go. Not a lot of newer players are going to have, you know, a bunch of different options for dual wield super TMRs, dual wield super TMR weapons, accessories, all that stuff. If you just need the 100%, dual forms right there for you. Pick it up from Radiant Lightning, 100% attack when dual wielding. So this plus a lot of characters out there who have 100% passively, that's going to be your 200% right then and there in one easy materia slot. Now, keeping with the dual wield theme, the next one actually is going to be Hermes Sandals from Final Fantasy V. This came out not too long ago with CG Barts. It's an accessory that gives you 40 attack and then has the additional effect of Traveler's Progression, which gives you 2 limit burst gauge crystals per turn. It increases your equipment attack by 50% when dual wielding. This is going to be 50% true dual wield, so it's half as effective as dual form, but it's an accessory slot. And if you have 2 Hermes sandals, then you can go ahead and, just like before, get that 100% with true dual wield like you would have in the one materia slot from dual form, except now you have an open materia slot for something else, whether it's limit burst damage, materia, or something to survive with HP and defense and spirit or elemental resistances, or any of the things that you have available to you. Having 2 of the Hermes sandals is going to open up that materia slot, which is super awesome. And then if you have Hermes sandals in dual form and using like a character who doesn't really have any innate dual wield, true dual wield, you can do that as well to kind of like force yourself to use a non-true dual wield character with true dual wield cap if you want to. But with that being said, you'd already have 2 Hermes sandals, which means you probably have CG Barts or something. Dual form, unless you bought them off from the King Walk, so you have those as options instead. But Hermes sandals definitely fantastic for that reason. They're opening up your materia slots. That's why it's a little bit better than dual form in my opinion. Open materia slots are a easy way to get the elemental resistance, to get the HP defense and spirit that you want to survive some of these trials, guys. Now, speaking of materia that you're going to be using, Heart Overcoming Hatred actually makes this list because there are a fair amount of characters out there, especially once you have a couple pieces of gear like we talked about with Hermes sandals. There's been a lot of attack plus 70% conditional materia and such forth in the game where you can kind of hit attack cap relatively easily, and if you don't need the extra tankiness from HP defense, spirit, elemental resistance for different fights, Heart Overcoming Hatred is a pretty easy way to get a significant damage boost on your limit burst. It gives you 1.5 limit burst gauge crystals per turn, but on top of that, it also increases the amount of limit burst damage that your limit burst does do by 50%. Now, you can't stack this or anything, but this is a fantastic 4-star trust master reward here. Heart Overcoming Hatred. I almost always have this equipped to a lot of my damage dealers. One of the only characters I don't think that I have it equipped to ever is Elena, and that's because she's not really based around her limit burst as far as damage goes. It does a decent amount of damage, but she's really all about that burst damage with her triple cast with all of those stacking modifiers. So that's probably the only character I can think of that I don't actually use Heart Overcoming Hatred on personally, and it's a fantastic Trustmaster reward and definitely deserving of making this list. Now, you guys probably have seen this one. Continuing with the H, we had Hermes Sandals, Heart Overcoming Hatred. Now we have Heroes Vow Earth. This is probably maybe my most favorite Trustmaster, or second most favorite Trustmaster reward in the game. Very, 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 very significant tankiness and limit burst gauge here. This gives you 30% HP, 20% defense, 20% spirit, 50% limit burst gauge fill rate, and 30% earth resistance. So this TMR has just so many things on this. This comes from CG Sieghart, whatever way you want to pronounce them. It was Sieghart in one version of the game, Sieghart in the next version of the game. I'm always calling them either one, but it's a fantastic Trustmaster reward, and this is because a lot of characters out there, whether you're using this on a tank, you can also use this on a healer, you can use this on a support character. A lot of characters out there want their limit burst and they want these tanky stats, right? You don't need like 2,000 spirit on a healer, 2,000 spirit on a support. You want a combination of HP, defense, spirit, limit burst gauge, high tide. That's fantastic. And then on top of that, you have the earth resistance too. So this is just, I could never run out of Heroes Vow Earth. I want more. I want like another one. I think I'd have one on my healer, one on my tank, one on my support, one on my other support, because you should bring like 2 supports, a tank, etc. So this is a fantastic, we've said that word too many times, Trustmaster reward. Definitely worthy of making this list. A runner-up to Heroes Vow Earth, right next to it in this list for this same reason, is actually Light's Vengeance, and that's because this is another way to get a lot of tankiness on a character. Your magic damage tanks, healers, all of that other stuff, right? We have a lot of spirit plus 50% materia out there. But Light's Vengeance is HP plus 40%, magic plus 30%, and spirit plus 30%. So this can be used for a lot of different things, right? You can even put this on a mage, right? Magic plus 30% isn't the highest in the world, but if you need your mage to be much more survivable, give them that 40% HP, give them that 30% spirit, make them take that magic damage that much better. You do lose some magic for the damage that the character is doing itself, but it does still have 30% magic. You don't have 0% magic in this slot, so this can be applied in a lot of different ways. It's a flexible Trustmaster reward, and that's where we're going to be seeing a lot of these Trustmaster rewards going forward, how flexible they are. A lot of them are going to help you in a lot of different ways, like Light's Vengeance does, like Heroes Vow Earth does. So this is a significant, amazing Trustmaster reward. Most of the time I have a Light's Vengeance in a Heroes Vow Earth on a lot of my characters because we were blessed by the barrel showing up the little Tonberry guy. So this is a fantastic, I'm going to say fantastic a lot in this video, Trustmaster reward. Now, speaking of newer TMRs, we have the antivirus software. This is probably my favorite ribbon in the game now. There's also a couple other applications where this can be useful. So the antivirus software is from AI Katy Perry. I think it's still available now. I think this will go away. The AI Katy Perry banner will go away tomorrow, Friday. Maybe it's the 1st of October actually, but it's an accessory, gives you 30 flat defense, 30 flat spirit, 10% defense, and 10% spirit. So that's pretty all right. It's a ribbon as well, which reduces the it actually increases, not reduces, it increases your status ailment resistance to every status ailment in the game. So this is paralyze, petrify, poison, blind, sleep, all of that stuff by 100%. This doesn't affect charm, this doesn't affect stop, this doesn't affect berserk because those aren't status ailments, those are like special status afflictions. Okay, those are different there. But the other thing that it does do, it has the additional effect of installation program, an autocast installation program at the start of the battle. What installation program does is at the start of the battle or when you're revived, it's going to give you a 3-turn buff to being resistant / immune to attack, defense, magic, and spirit breaks. So a lot of characters out there, a lot of party members, and a lot of parties you guys have been building, rightfully so, already have a buff to attack, defense, magic, and spirit break, because a lot of trials out there nowadays, they will break you, and you don't want to get broken at all. But the cool thing about this is that if your character does die, right, your tank dies, gets re-raised, it's going to automatically have that, or if your support dies, gets re-raised, it's already going to have that attack, defense, magic, and spirit break resist, so you don't have to worry about putting it back up. So if you're someone out there who's using re-raise a lot, because you're just not quite tanky enough to survive some of the hits, maybe you don't have exactly the right damage mitigation, this could be the ribbon for you there. It gives you the tankiness, right, the defense and spirit flat 30, 10% defense and spirit, gives you the ribbon effect, and then gives you that installation program thing that you can play around with there. So that's absolutely amazing there. We've seen a lot of like deaths in a lot of trials, right, where the boss is just like unresistible death. you're gone. Well, this is going to help you keep that attack, defense, magic, and spirit break resist up as well. So it doesn't like make or break it, but it is a pretty cool, neat feature, and it is a ribbon, and it gives you a lot of tankiness. So that definitely makes the list there. Now, the next one we'll be talking about, there's going to be a couple other ones, but this is the newest version of this sort of accessory. This was from Therion. I think this was from the Octopath Traveler collab. It was time limited, but this is just the newest version of this sort of an accessory. So this accessory gives you 12 attack, 26 defense, and it gives you the additional effect of Therion's Scarf. So Therion's Scarf decreases the chance that you're going to be targeted by 50%. So it gives you camouflage, so you're much less likely to be attacked with a single target attack. And that also increases your physical evasion by 25%. So this is an excellent stand-in for something like the Ring of the Lucii or the Protect Grappler, which people use for 25% dodge. And do not worry about the decreased chance of being targeted if you're putting this on a Provoke tank. If you're using Provoke, it overwrites any sort of camouflage that you have. We've been doing this for a long time. Way back in the day with 100% Provoke Ling, who already had 75, 50% camouflage. It just takes your camouflage off if you're using some sort of active Provoke skill, so that's not a detriment there. And then in addition to that, it's actually a positive as well if you're putting this on a cover tank, because you're much less likely to actually be targeted on your cover tank, which means someone else is going to get it targeted, which means that you're going to jump in front of them. So there's a boss out there that does a bunch of single target physical attacks, right? And using an AoE physical cover tank with Therion's Scarf, well, the boss isn't going to start attacking your cover tank, maybe with some random magic damage or something. He's going to not get hit by that, and then you'll be able to jump into the physical attacks that happen later on. So Therion's Scarf, super awesome. 4-star base, time limited, but remember guys, if you're looking for 25% dodge accessories, there's the Protect Grappler, which is from Rico Rodriguez, time limited as well. Should be coming back sometime soon. And there's always the OG Noctis with the Ring of the Lucii, 25% dodge there too. But I wanted to mention Therion's Scarf because maybe you guys have a couple of those Trust Moogles laying around from the raid event. I do believe that was a raid event, so maybe that's something that you guys can get in there and finish up your dodge builds if that's something you're working towards. Now, talking about Octopath Traveler, we have Wandering Warrior, and I think this was criminally underrated when it first came out. Wandering Warrior is a very, 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 very powerful tanky TMR here. So it gives you 40% HP, 20% defense, and 20% spirit, and increases resistance to paralysis by 100%. It is unstackable, and I'm also mentioning this because you also could have a lot of, even though it's a time limited material, you could have a couple of the Trust Moogles, the 5% from the raid if you're playing then as well. And don't throw them away. I think this is borderline super TMR tierish material. It's very similar to Heroes Vow Earth, right? Heroes Vow Earth had 20% defense and spirit, 30% HP, and then High Tide. You lose the Earth resist, you lose the High Tide, you gain the extra 10% HP. And you get the increased resistance to paralyze, which may or may not help you depending on what character you're putting it onto. But the one thing to take away here is, like, you can't stack Heroes Vow Earth, you can't stack Wandering Warrior. Why don't you just put them together and make a very, very, very tanky character? That's 2 materia for 70% HP, 40% defense, 40% spirit, 50% High Tide, 30% Earth resist, and 100% resistance to paralyze. Very, very tanky all-around character. You put this on, like I said, you put this on a healer, you put this on a tank, you put this on a support. Just make them tanky, just make them bulky, make them get in there. I used a Prism Moogle on my Wandering Warrior, don't regret it. It is definitely on one of my characters at all times nowadays. So moving into some final stuff, you guys maybe have seen these coming. Remember, this is new TMR's 2019. Storm Kickers is actually here. I love Storm Kickers. I don't use it that often. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depending on what I need to do, and that's why I love this accessory here. So it's an accessory. This is from Esther, a 45 flat attack, which is a lot of flat attack for an accessory, 10 defense, and then gives 2 additional effects here depending on if you are Esther or not. But we're going over mainly the inner limit one, which increases your HP by 20% and increases your limit burst damage by 15%. So kind of like Heart Overcoming Hatred, but in materia form and not as effective. This allows you to get a lot of flat attack on a character while getting some bulkiness as well, while also increasing their limit burst damage. So this is one of my favorite TMRs for that reason. It's very flexible in what you want to do. If you need a little bit of extra HP to help your damage dealer survive, put Storm Kickers on there, right? It's got that 45 flat attack, which works really well with True Double Hand, right? Because it's got that 45 flat attack. That's high amount. That's like Delita's Earring. I think it's Delita's Earring tier attack, gives you that 20% HP, and then it also gives you that 15% limit burst damage. You can wear 2 Storm Kickers as well if you want to. So absolutely fantastic for that reason. If you're able to cap out your attack percent, this also works well, right? You don't really need any attack percent on your accessory slot. If you have max true dual wield or true double hand, you're getting close to the attack percent. Limit burst damage can help you out, make your character a little bit more tanky. Storm Kickers is there for you as well, and then Esther as well. If you're using it on Esther, it's going to proc her Trustmaster Ward, and it's going to make her absorb lightning damage too. So that's going to be Storm Kickers. My #1 most favorite TMR so far this year, 2019. We'll have to see what the December, the old Christmas Santa Claus brings us. But this is going to be Twin Bunny Clips. So not only was Sylvie my #1 rated character in the game for the most part, in the tier list, her Trustmaster Award is my favorite new Trustmaster Award in the game. So let's get into this thing. It does a lot of great things. And this is an accessory. It gives you 35 defense, 35 spirit. So nothing like super insane, but those are some nice flat numbers there. And then gives you resistance to different elements of the game. Fire, ice, light, or fire and ice is 5% resist. Lightning's 15%, water's 5%, wind's 5%, earth is 15%, light is 15%, and dark is 5%. So 5 to 15%. 3 of them are 15%, which is lightning, earth, and light. The rest of them are 5%. So like 5% is kind of whatever. The other ones are much more nice with the 15%. But the real thing here to top it all off is Hoppy Memento. Increase your HP by 10%, your MP by 10%, and increase your limit burst gauge by 2 per turn. So this thing is absolutely insane for characters, supports, and healers who want to like fill their limit burst up, be tanky. It's got the 35 defense, 35 spirit, it's got HP and MP on it, and it's got that limit burst gauge 2 per turn. So a lot of characters out there that want to fill up their limit burst gauge, right? They want to hit certain amounts of limit burst gauge per turn. Someone like CG Lid or even CG Lid Infina, the swimsuit edition, characters like that. Maybe even like someone like Myra, Sylvie, even though they have expensive limit bursts, this is going to help them over time fill it up while also just doing what you want them to do, be tanky in there as well. So 10% HP, 10% spirit, 35 flat defensive spirit, limit burst gauge, elemental resistances. What more do you want for a character? Supportive character. You could even put this on a tank if you want to in certain applications. That's why I like it. If you're fighting a boss that has lightning, earth, or light resist, this is a great Trustmaster Award just for the elemental resistances alone, and that's just a part of it. So it's insane. It's super flexible. I use this all the time. Like 2 or 3 of them are on my characters at all times, just because the Twin Bunny Clips are that strong, guys. So I want to thank Amazon once again for sponsoring this video out there. It does help keep the lights on. As you can see, we're shining a little bit more brightly today than usual. Always a pleasure to be sponsored by somebody that I can agree with and I trust, and I do use myself personally, guys. So if you want to help me out, make sure you go ahead and check out the Amazon App Store for the Amazon coin benefits through the affiliate link down below, guys. If you want to see more stuff like this, go ahead, hit the subscription button, turn the notifications on, double check the notifications on, because subscriptions don't matter anymore. I don't think notifications matter anymore either. And then leave that like, hit that subscribe button, because apparently no one gets notifications unless the video's liked. I don't know. It affects the algorithm. It's been like that for a while. Who knows, man? If I'm not popular, we're not popular. And even though you're notified, they won't notify you guys. So stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.